Welcome to Bothering the Band. My name is Ryan Marcel Bynack. With me, as always, the producer of this shindig, the captain to my crunch, Abigail Ann Levy. Abby, how you doing?
Doing fabulous, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I'm very excited for today's episode. We have Luke Roes, formerly of the band The Ivory Hours. That's how I know him. There was a song that really stuck with me for a while called Shadow Kids, and we're stoked to have him. He put us off for a little bit until he had new material. Now he has new material, which I'm sure we'll talk about after we ask him how he stores his pantry products. Are you excited?
Very excited.
It's going to be great.
How's it going, gang? Can you hear
Luke,
me?
Hello.
what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just finished up a guitar lesson. And
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing Bothering the Band. My name is Ryan. This is Abby, who you've been corresponding with. And we're so thankful you're doing our silly little show.
Thanks for having me, man.
We're big fans. Just to give you a little hint of the intro that we just did, I was, just breaking down for the people. I moved to Florida, and the only good station on Sirius was Canadian rock station, The Verge.
Okay, yeah.
And I heard Shadow Kids, which is a great fucking song. And now we're here, man. So thanks for taking the time.
You're down in America.
Yeah. So
Great.
Abby's in Wyoming and I'm in South Florida, sweaty South Florida right now.
Oh yeah. How spicy is it?
Oh, it's pretty spicy. And I just ate a ton of meat. So I've got some real weird sweats going on.
Very nice.
So first question, how are you and where are you?
I am in London, Ontario, Canada. I am pretty good. We're doing better. We just went through the craziest bout of sickness. My young toddler is in daycare, and he brought home just a series of the most savage colds and stuff that apparently weren't COVID, but were just taking us out. So we're feeling a lot better now.
Well, that's good to hear. I don't have I have a kid who was a toddler, and just every fucking chance they get, their hands are in their mouth. It's so gross. Kids are gross.
Yeah, they're wild, man. But it's
so you're in Canada. Abby's real proud of this question. True or false? Living in Canada, you must feel like you're living in an apartment above a meth lab.
Oh, yes. Yeah, sometimes, man. Well, especially I always love that that Florida man joke, where you just search that shit and there's always something crazy. But yeah, I don't know. We got our own issues though, is the thing. You guys just seem to steal the show all the time with being a slightly crazier.
Yeah, I think we're you're the crazy aunt and we're the crazy NASCAR uncle.
Yeah, and he's just louder, and she's just as crazy, but she's 6 wines deep, and she just sits in her craziness.
She gets sad, he gets angry. I like personifying Canada and America like this.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay, be honest. What's it like being a really good-looking musician?
I wouldn't know.
Get out of here.
But it must be cool. For
get out of here.
Styles and what's his name? That must be pretty neat. But I don't know. I don't consider myself to be conventionally attractive. I got the nice Morpheus teeth and whatnot. So, but I appreciate it.
I mean, it's a spiteful question because we were just, doing our research and trying to think of real silly questions. We were both like, man, this guy is a talented and he's good look. Fuck this. How dare you? Thank you for sharing both your gifts with us regular folks. You do a lot of music or instructional videos on Instagram. This is a 2-part question. Can you play the piano?
No, that's one of my bigger regrets is that and also it's such an instructional tale to me about music, because when my parents tried to get me to do piano when I was super young, like maybe grade 2 or something, and literally all I wanted to do was learn the Mission Impossible theme song. I just wanted to go dun 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 dun, and the lady wouldn't teach me the Mission Impossible theme song. I was losing it. I was like, she's trying to get me to do all this theory and garbage. Am I allowed to swear, by the way?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
already said fuck like 3
Okay,
times.
great. And so all this theory, and I'm like, lady, I just gave you the home run. Like, if you teach me Mission Impossible theme song, I'll probably learn the theory right after. You know what I mean? Like, you just need a gateway into music.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that I just like my parents would make me practice piano, and I'd literally just be in the other room, just like slamming keys because I wasn't into it. But it's like, I clearly love music. Like I found my way into practicing, but it's so funny how you like, something has to incept you into like wanting to do the work. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like almost the harder thing out of all it. It's like, if you want to get good at something, you kind of know what you're supposed to do, but the hardest part is like getting inspired enough to eat the shit sandwiches it takes to get good, you know?
That's a super uber theory, and I love it because I'm a writer, and I grew up hating writing. Like hated reading, hated writing, until I like senior of high school. One of my teachers gave me like On the Road or something, and it clicked. And I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And it was just that one thing. So what did you start playing?
I found my way to guitar, which I was more passionate about at the time. And then it just happened that in high school that found a group of friends that were nerding out on guitar. And then you see other people and you're like, fuck, I want to do that too. So then you just played. But like, it's hard to say if I actually think about it, like I always was absolutely in love with music. Like when I was a little kid, I had a little Walkman that I would carry around everywhere and stuff like that. But yeah, like what the actual thing that got me to sit there for all of the hours it takes to get good at guitar, I don't know. But yeah.
Well, we're glad. Abby and I cannot play any instruments, but we are music geeks. We love music, and that's why we do this, because our whole mission was, hey, how do we become friends with our favorite musicians? And that's a very selfish COVID wish come true.
That's all good. Well, it's cool. I didn't mean to cut you off about the writing thing too, because that's always super interesting to me as well. And like, it's funny too, because I remember, like, I forget who said, is that a Hemingway thing where he's like something about like hating writing but loving having written? Who, I don't forget who that quote is attributed to, but it sort of reminds me of the same thing. Like writing music, sometimes it's like a motherfucker, but then when you're done, you're just like, yes.
Yeah. I am editing a novel right now and been working on it for years and years and years. And every time I finish a round of edits, and of course my friends like Abby hear this, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to never read it again.
Oh man. I can't imagine. Like I was reading that Bird by Bird book, and the ladies
that's good.
Like fucking, you go through like 5 drafts over several years. It just puts it so into perspective to me. Like, oh, cool, it took you a year to make an album. Ooh, woohoo. Like, but like 5 years, not even sure if a thing's gonna get finished is like, my hat goes off to the authors out there, man.
You're the second person on the pod to mention that book. The first is our good friend of the pod, who will love that we mention him again, Rich Wilkes, who is the writer of the movie Airheads. Do you know this film?
I don't think so.
Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, Steve Buscemi.
Oh, cool. Is that the one that
they're musicians? They take over a radio station.
Okay, sick, man. Google, show me. I don't know. In this movie, this looks pretty sick. Wow, I've never heard of this.
Oh, it is.
Oh, Montana.
It's worth the time, eh?
It is so. It is perfect. It's so funny. It's Sandler at his youngest. It's just so many musical references, and
bro, that is a stellar Steve Buscemi. It's like almost like it's like Steve Buscemi trying to be Johnny Depp or something. Psychedelic, bro.
Pretty close. Good analogy. Have you ever seen a ghost?
I have not. I'm not much into the supernatural myself. Are you guys spooks?
I am.
Yeah.
Nice. You have seen?
Yes,
It's
I
crazy.
have. I
In
have.
what was the setting?
My grandma's basement at like 4 in the morning. I don't know. I was probably half asleep, but I believe it was real. So
Was it angry? Was it chill?
no, that it was several ghosts. They were playing cards. Mhm.
Oh,
They're
just
very
hang.
nice. They're very nice and polite. And then I just went back to sleep. And then the next morning, I told my grandma because she believed as well. She's the only other person in my family who believes. And so I went upstairs and I was like, so I saw some things last night. And then she was like, oh, they're no big deal. They just hang out down there sometimes. Don't worry about them.
Oh, far out. Nice.
So I don't know. The world can make fun of me, but yes, I do believe.
I
A
have
lot of
never
people
seen
get
a
down, man.
ghost.
No, I've seen things like that's the thing. Like you do a bit of mushrooms or something and you realize like what your brain is capable of. And it's like the veil is a lot thinner than we think it is, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
So,
I want to see anything like that, but it also begs the point of if ghosts are real, they're everywhere. There are so many watching you do real gross stuff. So keep that in mind.
that's true. You know, the thing about, maybe I should see what you guys think about see what you guys think about hammer theory. Okay. So this is this is my thing that I are you religious people also or no? Okay.
Are you?
No, I'm not. Like I was baptized Catholic, but I've never been into this thing. But the one that I need a religious person to answer is that, you talk about the soul, right? But I'm very like, I'm not a completely like a reductionist scientist kind of person, right? But like if someone takes a hammer to your soul, your skull, like your soul goes away like really quickly, right? So it's like I don't know how you can make this argument for a soul that is lasts beyond your body, like when a basic hammer can eliminate it, like with that amount of speed, you know?
I do. I see where you're
Mhm.
getting at. Um,
And so
I
like where does the soul go? You make a big deal about dying and then the soul goes somewhere, but like that shit can disappear pretty quickly.
Good point.
Yeah, I've never heard of this theory. Did you just make this up, or is this
Yeah,
a real
I know
thing?
this is one of those ones swirling around in the brain.
You
I
could
mean,
have.
there's so many logical inconsistencies you can find with religious stuff, but like that's just one of those ones where like and it doesn't have to be a hammer. You can slip and fall on the sidewalk. Like what happens when a person has a major head injury? Does their soul just like go and chill for a bit until they're ready to die and then it goes into the air? Like seems like it's pretty tied in with the brain cells to me, you know?
I like it.
So you believe that if you're hit really hard with a hammer, it's just like a computer turning off, lights out, you're done.
Well, just like you've eliminated the neural connections that are a part of
Yeah.
your consciousness. It's like your consciousness and your soul, I guess, could be interchangeable terms to me, but it's like it's pretty reliant on the gray matter and the neurons, you know?
Yeah. I think what's weird, and I've talked about this with friends, is that to me is the scariest thing. That's the scariest option, that there's just nothing. And I think that's where religion comes from. It's like fear of nothing, fear of death. So people have to create. And you're talking, I'm Jewish. I celebrate every like high holiday, although it's real easy to be a Jew. Like we just get into heaven if that's a thing. You know, we know there's no like Messiah or anything like that.
Or Judgment Day situation.
No devil. That's why I love the devil. And because I think the devil is a relative term. So some people are like, the devil, no. And I'm like, it's just a literature character, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a really good character for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. Judaism seems kind of interesting. Seems like very like cool kind of like family almost like traditional thing. The one that like Catholics, man, drive me crazy because it's like the corporation of religions and they're except instead of toxic waste, they just have like molested children everywhere that they have to keep trying to cover up.
Oh, that shit is bananas.
Oh, it's the craziest, man. That's why I don't know. Do you have that in the States as much? Like there are Catholic schools here that are like funded by the government. That's one that drives me crazy.
I'm not smart enough to speak on this. So let me say this before listeners are like, fuck you, like whatever. But I don't know who funds it, but I do know that, it's been proven that a lot of people got away with a lot of really bad stuff, arguably the worst stuff. And yeah, man, we hardly ever
Not
get
just that
political.
It happened, it's the fact that they were like, it happened, and instead of fixing it, we're just gonna buy them a plane ticket to a new place so they can just keep doing it. That's the one that just like on top. I get it, you're a big company, you can't be on like keep tabs on every single employee, but like when you find out an employee has been raping children, it's like, okay, you better do something about it. Anyways, we went down a little tangent there. Perhaps there are other avenues we want to explore.
Perfect segue. What's one song you can't stand
in the world?
At all? It could be a commercial. It could be a theme song. It could be Lovely Lady Lumps by Black Eyed Peas and Fergie.
I can't honestly think of anything.
Or You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon, which is
I don't understand why you hate that song so much.
I hate it.
Really? I don't think there's anything that I like absolutely hate. Although I don't seek it out. Like there's just so many options on Spotify now that like it's not like the radio where you used to get like punished by a song that you don't like anymore. It's like now if you don't want to hear something, you literally don't have to hear it at all. So I would have to like really try hard to think of a thing. It might be something in the like pop country realm. But anyway, I don't know. Anymore I'm like less of an asshole, I think, about music. Like I can find something to like about most things.
Yeah. I think even the songs I hate, I like making fun of them, or they're so catchy, then therefore I dislike them. What's the last song you listened to? Not your own or nothing you made yourself?
Yeah, last song we were just literally in this lesson what we listened to. I can't remember what it's called, something, but I've just been listening to a lot of hip hop actually recently. Yeah, I started making beats randomly because I'm working with a hip hop artist doing some production stuff. And then he wanted me to build some tracks. So then I started doing that. And then I have like a love for some like old 90s kind of hip hop, but haven't really paid attention to anything in the last like long while. So then I put these beats out on TikTok and then ask people like what rapper should be on it. And I got this fucking gigantic list of all these modern rappers that I've been checking out. So it's like, Denzel Curry is
he's great.
I've been checking out a ton of and think it's awesome, but there's tons. Today I was going through Tyler the Creator's backlog of stuff actually, because that's pretty cool.
Do you know Canadian rapper Shad?
I do know of him. I'm not super familiar with his catalog.
He's great too. We've had him on the pod and he's fantastic. Highly recommend another guy named Lyrics Born. He's like a West Coast funky. I don't know. How would you describe his very funky, very melodic dance hip hop? It's phenomenal.
Lyrics Born. That's Canadian dude too?
No, he's from like San Francisco, the Bay Area, Oakland, like that area in California.
Okay, cool. Man, yeah. It's so hip hop's kind of fascinating to me. It's like there's so many different subgenres that I'm trying to get smart about, because it's like what you hear coming from mainstream world is like just a tiny drop in the pond of
fraction
available, right? So it's interesting.
And I wouldn't be doing my New York friends justice if I didn't mention Big L. Listen to Big L. He's my favorite of all time.
He's is he still operating, that dude?
No, he's dead. He was shot in the face.
That hurts.
Coming out of his Harlem apartment. But word around the campfire is he was like trajectory to be like the Jay-Z big, like he was like that good.
Yeah, I
And
think I recall some of those tracks, but man, that's not how you want to go out.
no, not at all. Speaking of death and religion, if you had to replace all the world's grass with another substance, what would you replace it with?
Grass, like maybe like fruit trees, man, like apple trees or something.
Okay.
You know?
All right. There's no wrong answers here, but
Yeah,
I'm glad you
like
didn't say like leather or something.
no, I was gonna say like sand, but that's too hot.
Yes.
And wherever sand is currently, I'm pretty cool with that. Like next to water, usually a great spot for sand. So shade, you know.
Yeah, I like the shade. Abby, what would you replace all the grass with?
Cotton candy.
Okay,
See,
perfect.
that was the other thing I was thinking, which is more fairy tale. But then eventually, like your feet so sticky, you step onto the dirt from the cotton candy. Like you need some serious washing.
Yeah. And then if you sweat, it'll like dissolve the sugar in the cotton candy.
Yeah, and it's like also how thick is it? Is it like the average thickness of like a fair sized cotton candy? So that'd be like 8 inches of cotton candy, or is it like only as high as the grass usually would be if you've got a neighbor who doesn't take care of their spot and the bylaw officer hasn't hit them yet? Is it like 2 feet high?
It would be so gross. You know how gross in a city like snow gets?
Yeah,
It
if it was
would be
thick.
so gross.
Well, I'm sorry then.
That's okay.
No,
No,
that was a
no,
great
guys.
answer. It got us talking and like trying to realistically
Yeah.
wrap our head around it, which is exactly what Bothering the Band is trying to do. Which would you prefer as a roommate, a goat or a bird?
I'm gonna take depends on the state of the economy. Like a goat, like if shit's rough, give me that goat so we can get some milk popping. But if money's coming in the door, then a bird will do for me, I think.
Gotta write down if shit's rough, give
Getting
me that goat.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
That's fantastic. Abby, we going goat or bird?
Goat.
Yeah, I think
I love goats.
Yeah, you gotta go goats.
They have accents.
They do,
They're
and they look
extremely
tables.
cute too.
Mhm.
You should get
But
the goats that like faint when you scare them, those like pygmy goats or
Mhm.
whatever. How do you feel about raisins?
not a fan, man. Like I will put up with one in a butter tart, but I'm not pleased.
Yeah, no, they're the worst.
You're better
No,
than
but I
me.
love grapes. I don't know what happens when the sun gets at them. By the time it's done, they're ruined. That's a waste of a good grape right there.
Do you give your kid raisins?
See, I don't seek them out, and there's so many
Yeah,
other
yeah.
random things you could eat that
Yeah.
just don't end up with them. But yeah, that's I gotta be real hungry to look fondly at a raisin.
There's I forget which comedian has a joke. It's like, if you give me an oatmeal raisin cookie, I'm gonna show you a garbage can.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's a waste of a good cookie right there too.
Yeah. Do you have any tattoos?
I don't. Every time I've thought about getting a tattoo, I'm like, oh, I could buy a guitar for that. So I just do that instead. But
Oh, that's great. That's exactly how I feel, like the reverse about tattoos. Like if I'm like gonna buy like just shitty things, or I'm like, I could save up like 2 of these, I could buy 1 tattoo.
oh, that's smart. Yeah, if you were gonna get like, I don't know, some random
Shoes, t-shirts, books, the things I buy too much of.
those are
all the
not
time.
bad things. I was thinking more like infomercial, like shake weights or something. Then yeah, books are good.
Yeah, books are shake weights. I had a shake weight. Have either of you ever had a shake or used a shake weight?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Did it get you ripped?
It didn't get me ripped, but you could feel like the isolating of the muscle, like the three muscles, like right here.
Are you
Anytime
about
they
to
show,
infomercial us right now?
anytime they show the commercial, it's like someone who's like ripped all over, and you're like, no, it's only working like three things.
Yeah.
Also, I think I got like the child one because it was like this big.
Right.
Baby. It was just a rattle.
Wasn't there a great South Park episode about those? I think I remember back in the day.
I haven't watched South Park in forever.
I know it's been a long time. I'm pretty sure it's still running too. I just
on
stopped
Paramount,
watching it like 10 years ago and it just kept on going. God bless.
Oh, this is going to be fun right now. I'm going to make Abby feel old right here. South Park came out when the summer between I think 8th and 9th grade for us. How old are you, Luke?
I'm 34.
Okay. So we got 5 years on you.
Okay.
Almost 6, depending. And yeah, I remember a friend of mine, his like parents wouldn't let him watch it.
Yeah, I remember when it first came out, it was like taboo action.
Yeah.
So many swears.
I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And there's a new Beavis and Butthead film on Paramount as well.
Wow, that's a trip too.
Yeah. Brand new. Mike Judge turning them out. In the cover, the Dream World cover, do you have a piercing? What's in your mouth?
Oh, I did have a lip ring. So when we lived in Toronto, there was this piercing place down the street that had like 2-for-1 Sundays. So we'd be all hungover and we were like, oh, what the fuck are we gonna do? Oh, I guess we'll go get 2-for-1 piercing. So I got like I got my ears done, I had one up here, I had my fucking lip done as well too. And then I eventually just reached a point where I was like, nah.
I don't know if you've experienced this with your fans, but I was debating it. Is it a lip ring or is it a toothpick? So that's my curiosity.
I am prone to using a toothpick as well, so not an awful idea. Yeah, it could be close there, eh? Huh. Cool.
Either way, it's cool. Did you have any nicknames as a child?
That I know of. Yeah, I don't think so. But I was like, I didn't have a ton of friends as a kid also too. I've always been like very like introverted. So I have like a couple good friends and neither of them are very like nicknamey. So no.
Your folks or no one called you like Lukey or I hate myself for saying that, by the way.
No, what is that fucking? There's a guy, like a family friend, would call me like Lukester or something. It's infuriating. Would be the closest that you get to that.
Yeah, F that guy. This is a Abby question. When's the last time you washed your own car?
My own car. Like I have vacuumed the interior, but I have not washed the exterior of a car in a long time. Honestly, can't even remember.
It was such a thing in my childhood, like on the weekend.
Oh, really?
Like people outside, like washing cars.
Really? Yeah. Some people are into it. It just seems like you drive away and instantly your car would be dirty again, unless you don't do anything with it. But I always like lived in the country too. So you hit like any gravel road and that shit's going to be dusted right up. So I guess if you live
like dad thing to do, like,
yeah, it's dangerous. You can get real into lawns real quick. Like, now that I have a lawn, like you got to watch yourself, man. Pretty soon you could be a lawn guy real quick and like sneak up on you.
I'm already a garden guy. What else? Abby, do I do anything other like dad stuff? Dad jokes, love them. Puns, love them. I don't know.
You're an atypical dad.
Yeah, especially in South Florida. And also, like,
what's the average dad in South Florida like?
Well, where I live, it's like a bunch of like lawyer, stockbrokery, like Jewish guys.
Oh,
no one looks like me. It's like covered. No, like when I walk my daughter to school, no one looks like me. It's very fun. And I was just saying this to someone that whenever they ask about like the stock market or one time someone was talking about taxes, like, oh yeah, what are your taxes? I have no idea, like not even close. So I'm like 11. I'm like, I don't know. Am I 100? Am I supposed to say a million? I have no idea.
Yeah. You just take them to someone and they just handle your shit.
I have no idea. I don't even know what taxes they were talking about. They could have been property taxes. They could have been income taxes. Come on, man.
If you don't have to worry, then
I look
you're
like
in a good spot.
Abby, what are your taxes? You own that at your house.
They are not bad.
11.
11.50 with inflation this year.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah.
Follow up to the car washing question. When's the last time you used a gas station squeegee for your windshield?
I would guess that was probably last tour across Canada, because when you hit Western Canada, something about Saskatchewan, they have like a zillion grasshoppers and they just coat the front of your vehicle, and it's like you have no option but to get the squeegee out so that you can see where you're going. So that was
Are they like big fuckers or are they like small?
they splat. Like I have memories because I was born there too, of just like the front of your vehicle just being like a complete like holocaust of these fucking grasshoppers on there. Sorry about the Holocaust thing too.
No, it's totally fine. Grasshopper Holocaust would be a great like metal album name.
It is actually nice.
Are you looking it up to see if it's taken? Are you writing that's your note? I love it. Okay, another either or question. Would you rather, for let's say a year, I don't know the timeline here, would you rather use a pager instead of a cell phone or have to use dial-up internet?
Oh, pager for sure. Yeah,
I think you're
pager
right.
Kind of sick, honestly, less distracting. And dial-up internet, I mean, if you lived it, you know the struggle.
Yeah.
Downloading music in the day, oh my lord. Morpheus take you like a day to download some 41s.
Oh, great reference. Do you remember LimeWire?
Oh yeah.
So
and then did it get shut down and then we started hitting the Morpheus? No, maybe LimeWire was post.
I think it was like once one got shut down, another one started, and that Kazaa and all that. But LimeWire, I just read, is now in the NFT game. That's what they're NFT brokers. That's another thing that gets talked about in my neck of the woods. And people are like, oh, NFTs. I was like, I don't know what that is, man.
Yeah.
I don't really get it.
I don't think people are as stoked on them now as they were a couple months ago.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Did you have Pogs growing up?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, Pogs were sick.
That just made me real excited. NFTs are like adult Pogs.
Yeah, about the same, like, you prediction of like what they're worth, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Did you ever pull up the classic prank at a friend's house when they're sleeping to put their hand in a cup of warm water to see if they would pee their pants? Do you know this?
I know of this, but I don't fuck with people when they're sleeping.
That's a good call.
You know, I don't know if it's an empathetic thing or like a fear of it happening to me thing, but yeah, I never wanted that to happen to somebody.
And that's your religion. I don't fuck with people while they're sleeping. Abby, have you? I feel like you in your college days, your rambunctious college days, did that stuff.
College? No, that's like something Mandy and I did in the second grade.
Oh man!
After we played Bloody Mary in the bathroom or something.
Yeah, I feel like college is more like permanent marker, dicks to the face.
Yeah.
It's just like it's inconsiderate, man.
It is inconsiderate, even if it works. That was my other follow-up. If you had done it, did it work? Like, did they pee? Because I can't wrap my head around how that would work.
I might be one of those that might be something for the Mythbusters guys, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Call Adam, what's his name?
As you can see, bothering the band, we asked the hard-hitting journalistic questions. If this is I've been sitting on this question for a minute, and I'm curious your take. If you're okay, picture yourself, you're in an Airbnb in the country. It's an old house. And you hear, it's not there, it's not yours, but you hear a baby cry. What are you doing?
Sorry, what, like, how do I respond, or what am I doing when the baby?
Yeah, this should have been follow-up to the ghost question. But yeah, you're in an old rickety house somewhere in the country
And
by
I showed
yourself.
up, Psalm's baby.
By yourself, and you're just chilling out, and you hear a baby cry.
Okay. At this pre having my own child, I would probably just be hitting that road real quick. Now that I have a baby, I'd be going to check that guy out. But if I see them all like stiff in the hallway and they're like, I'll probably boot it at that point.
Oh, I apologize. That question's so dumb. No wonder I didn't ask it forever. Okay, in your fridge, you always have blank.
Ketchup, condiments, nothing.
I thought he was about to say condoms.
No, those don't need
ketchup and condoms, bro.
That's just regular shit. OJ, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything weird in there for you, but
no, not weird. Just some people have like the thing, like I always condiments is a good hot sauce, and like soda water is what I always have.
Oh yeah, we're into the bubbly pops. Mm-hmm. No, those are good. Yeah, nice. Trying to drink less beer these days, so that really does trick.
Abby, is there something you always like need to have in your fridge?
She's chocolate syrup.
Okay, I should have known that.
What's the average? What are you syruping? Like ice cream, or are you adding it to some crazy shit?
I drink a lot of chocolate milk. I have what Ryan calls my diet, that of an unsupervised middle schooler.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, you can do what you want. You're an adult now, so
exactly.
Yeah.
I do eat vegetables, Mom. I promise.
Not just meat. There's a lot of times before these pods where like I'll look over and Abby's like eating chocolate and drinking a Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, hey, it's the double sugar.
That's not true.
Double sugar.
That's not true.
I feel like that's an American thing too, though. You just inject the sugar, eh?
I mean, I try not to eat it, but I love cookies and sugar and shit like that. Oh man. Well, what's like your favorite Canadian candy?
Is there? Oh, well, maple syrup is just like the treat of all treats. That shit's amazing.
Yeah, real maple syrup is gangster. But I used to go to Montreal every year, and you have like just better versions of our candy. You have like the super dark Kit Kats, and this is years before. I mean, they're now filtering down here, but I remember like dark Twix. I was like, what is this?
Crazy.
I was like, it's a grown-up Twix.
Yeah, I can't think of. I'm not a big candy eater, but I recall we had a crazy uncle from the States who used to like in the summertime. When we'd go out to my uncle's cottage, he'd bring like some hellish bag of American treats. There was always some crazy stuff in there we'd never heard of.
Candy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Do you miss your long hair? You're kind of long now, but you used to have really
long again. I chopped it right before my son was born because I knew it was going to be war, so I did it. And I wouldn't have any time to deal with it. But the super long hair, not frequently. That shit's hot, especially in the summer. I could do it there. But I have super thick hair too, man. It's a thing. And then don't really feel like being a ponytail guy,
What about a man bun?
I just couldn't do it. Something about the man bun craze did not sit with me. I don't know what it is. But I'm
You can
a
pull
bit
it
of, like,
off.
I guess you could do it. I just like I'm to a fault. I'm like a contrarian in that way. So
Okay.
see everybody getting a man bun, I'm gonna do the not that thing, you know?
I used to have very long hair as well, and I did the man bun. But before, this is 10 years prior.
Oh, so you did a hip man bun.
Yeah. And it was a necessity. It wasn't fashion. It was always gross. So
Respect.
it was chopsticks and pencils.
Oh, nice. Yeah, great,
No,
great
I'm
story
just
for life.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. What are your cell phone charging habits? Are you like strictly at night? Do you charge it sporadically throughout the day? What are we talking
It's
here?
like an as needed situation because now we've been home so much, it hasn't been as much of a thing. You learn your lesson when you're out and
Yeah.
about, and then you got to be more frantic. So I'll probably have to get my charging hygiene back together now.
Charging hygiene. Are you going on tour sometime soon?
I don't know. I don't have any plans for live stuff. I'm like really trying to focus on production work right now, and we would really have to like do a bunch of rehearsing. So I think if people are really digging the music and promotional stuff goes well, then I'll maybe look at some touring stuff then. But the like dog touring stuff, I think I don't know. It's like debatable whether you even need to do that anymore is the thing. Like you just see people like have so much success just with TikTok stuff, and then they're just like start out playing to thousands of people instead of doing the like
Doing the road.
yeah, it's weird too because I feel like from industry people there's so much pressure to just like get on the road, man, just like play those empty rooms, and it's like I don't know, man. Like it makes you better like as a band, I suppose, but in terms of the energy output and like money output, like doesn't seem like the jam.
I also think it's probably a young person's game too. Get out with your buddies, rock and roll all night. Do you miss it? Like there has to be a part of you that misses it though, right?
No, I love playing. Like that's especially, I didn't realize how much I missed it until I had seen went to some shows post COVID stuff. And I'm just like, I really do like playing. Like it's super fun. But so I do want to do some. I just want to make sure it's feasible. And the other thing is just like mental health wise, it just like crushes me. Like a series of really late nights, just like my point of view or perspective on life goes like this. So I'd have to figure, but that's the thing when you're doing that kind of touring, it's like you don't start playing till midnight, and then you're talking to people and shit, and then you're done at 3, and then it's the same thing the next night. I feel like when people are in a proper touring cycle, you can actually like play a show at 9. Put it down earlier, right?
That makes sense. I equate it to I bartended in New York for like 10 years, and it was you sleep till 2, you go to work at 3, you're done at 3, then you hang out with your buddies at the next bar, and vicious cycle.
Yeah, hospitality stuff seems crazy to you. I've got a cousin who works in that world, and like it's wild because it's like they'll finish a shift and it's like so high energy that like half of the people just go out and do blow for the rest of the night, and then the other half like you're just
there's that too.
Right? Yeah.
And then it would start falling in your lap. You're like, I'm not gonna do blow tonight. And then like one guy would walk in, you're like, fuck. All right. You sent us a song. I don't know if it's okay to say that, but it's a fantastic song. And this question comes from one of the lyrics. Has anything today gotten in your way besides our podcast?
Every day it's me, man. If it's going to be something, it's going to be me. No, you know what? That's the thing. I don't like I don't have to worry about haters because nobody hates me as much as me. So that's like that's the thing I got to work on every day, man. Trying to like find this like middle ground where I can like push myself and be driven and also respect myself at the same time is hard.
I hear you, man. I hear you. We go through it. I mean, everyone goes through it in their own way, but just know that we only pick our favorite musicians for this podcast. So there you go. And thank you for making good music. So we love what you're doing. And we ask everyone this question. It's a shameless plug. Do you follow us on Instagram?
I don't. I'll do that right now. Let's
You
get on there.
better.
On.
This is our moment to tell all the listeners, follow us, follow Luke. I know we follow you because we were watching your videos.
There you are. I don't think I do. So here we go. Bam. Follow back. Sick.
It's just her name, Luke Rose.
That's it.
2 other questions. What musician, live or dead, would you like to quote unquote bother in the same vein as this? And what really dumb question would you ask that person?
Dumb question. Oh man. I like probably like Jimi Hendrix. And then dumb question.
Pager dial up?
Oh, which one of the ones that we just
No. It could be your own dumb question. I was just saying,
yeah, I can't think of my own. Like it'd be interesting to know what he would replace grass with, like that. Does open an interesting one, you know. But of my own, no, I have too many real questions for that person. That the dumb question would be like, we'll get to that. But first, let me dump all this other shit on you.
Or I mean, it doesn't have to be a dumb question. It could be like an idiosyncratic music question, you know. Do you stretch your fingers? I don't fucking know, you know.
Yeah, it'd be more to do of like with how actually just there. Did you ever listen to Rick Rubin's podcast at all? Broken Record?
No.
Man,
No.
if you guys are music people, you got to be listening to that. It's so good. And
we just talked about him yesterday.
He was interviewing this guitarist from a band called Love. I have to check that record out, but they're from the olden days. And then that guy was talking about meeting Jimi Hendrix early on, but before he was like Jimi Hendrix, he was like playing with, who is that? He's playing with, I think it was Little Richard, maybe he was out with, but he like at some point transitioned from just this like backing band guy into this like psychedelic, like guitar biting, like crazy dude who we know today. And like, I'd love to know what happened in between those times. So fascinating.
See, that's a great like practical question. Like what happened in your life or did anything? What if it was like, I just got bored or great question and great suggestion. Rick Rubin's podcast. Nice.
Dude, it's so good. He just did I don't know. Did you listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers at all?
Absolutely, of course. We're going to see them in Florida, in Orlando in September.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That was a really sick. He did one like with each of the members of the band that was super cool. A lot of stuff I had never heard of before. And it's just neat because Frusciante's back now. And whole kind of thing.
The album's good. New album's great. I just read Kiedis's book like 2 books ago. I just finished his book.
Okay.
It's pretty wild, as you can expect.
Yeah, the man is his relationship with Flea is so interesting to me. Just like it's crazy that they can have stayed together that long. Like that's just but then that's what you kind of glean through that interview is like what actually allowed them to stay together in some fashion. But John Frusciante's probably like my favorite modern guitarist. He's so melodic and
I love John Frusciante. I got really excited that he came back. That was one of the selling points to going to see this show in September. I was like, but John Frusciante's back.
Yeah, for sure.
That I've seen so many live bands, and that's one of like a huge band that is like it like hit me. I'm like, I've never seen the Chili Peppers live. That's wild.
Yeah.
Have you?
I honestly haven't either. It just like has never
it's just
I was able to do. No. But it's crazy because they're like one of my favorite like the existing bands. But yeah.
They're great. Highly recommend that. I read Flea's book, Acid for the Children, which is great because it talks about his childhood and it ends like, he's going to do another one, but it ends right when he like meets Kiedis.
Okay.
And it's a hefty, and that he's had a wild, just unto himself like existence. Highly recommend that.
The fact that either of those dudes are still, and actually no, any of them, like that Chad Smith, like that guy makes sense that he's alive, but the other 3 of them should have been dead like a million times. It's actually crazy.
Yeah. In Kiedis's book, he talks about, so they fired one drummer, and I don't know the timeline off the top of my head, but they fired one drummer, and then this guy, this like broy LA, like Melrose, like a hair metal drummer came, and what, like everyone they were auditioning was nervous or whatever, and Chad Smith came and like wasn't nervous, wasn't like one of their like, like funky, that funk style, and he played exactly what they said, and then he like grabbed his gear and left before they even like said anything. And so they had to track him down and like tell him like, we'd like you in the band. And then also how he stayed in the band is he didn't like do drugs with them. He would just like play and then go like drink beers with his buddies,
Right.
while they were like shooting heroin stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought. One of the things that I thought was so interesting, I think that was Flea saying it. He's like, yeah, we don't hang, like Chad and I, we don't hang out. So like, I wouldn't talk to him about this. I was like, whoa, that's so interesting that like you could remain a thing for that long without having that particular, but I guess you don't have to necessarily have that kind of deep connection with, I don't know, somehow they managed to like keep it.
I mean, if you show up and do your job and create and pull your weight, I feel like it's okay,
Yeah, it's weird that they could be that professional about it, given how unprofessional they could be about the other stuff, but respect, man.
Especially when you're a kid, when you're young, you just picture like, oh, all the bands you liked. You're like, oh, they're best friends. They live together. They hang out all the time. Like,
No, it's weird. Yeah, especially for something that's been going on for that long. It's just like in each other's faces all the time. Like you couldn't exist.
We've interviewed members of different bands who live complete opposite sides of the states. And they're like, once a year we record an album, and then that turns into a tour, and then we go back to our lives, especially they're, a little bit older now. So I this is another reason we started this, is we want to know, we think as fans, that's what people want to know. Like, the dumb questions we asked you, the ghost, all that, the raisins.
Yeah, interesting, actually leads to like some more interesting. At least you didn't ask like, where'd your band name come from, bro?
Yeah. No, that we have rules about this, and we were skirting the political and the topical, and so that's why we had to like go a different. It's like politics. We don't care about much inspiration. We try not to act like like you said, the cliche, where'd your band name come from? How do you write a song? We won't ask that ever. And that being said, what's next for you? What promote, tell the world what you're working on.
More writing. I've got a bunch more songs to come out as part of this record. The one that you've heard is just the intro song. It's sort of like a concept record in a sense that follows this whole mental breakdown that I had. And so there's that tune is like the beginning of darkness, goes down into this, like the next one is like pit of despair, paranoia song, and then goes through this sort of like Buddhist almost, what do you call that when you, I don't know, it's like this change essentially where I kind of had to like let the ego dissolve essentially and then come out the other side. And so the second half of the record kind of just like is more retrospective, kind of like looking back at the illness and like thinking about different components of it. So that's all going to come out as a thing. And then at the same time, I'm kind of excited to just like move past that. And this whole project was me kind of just like wrapping that part of my life up with a nice bow. And then, just like moving forward into exploring all kinds of different stuff. Like I'm through the production work that I'm doing. Like I said, I'm doing some hip hop stuff and just like working on lots of different kinds of music. And that's kind of where I'm happiest because it lets me do my ADD-ish thing where I can do multiple genres. It's always been a problem for me where it's like I'm trying to like do too many things on a record. So yeah, I think I sort of got this one into a place where it all makes sense. But
do you have any release or anything like that you can tell us, or still ironing things out?
Next song will be August 2nd, and then on like basically a 3-week schedule after that, it's going to keep just coming out, and it'll be out, like fully out by the end of the year. It's just kind of the way for, at least for someone in my position, that it just kind of makes sense to release the songs as singles. And also it's like the story just kind of unfolds at this point in time with the attention span. that we all have. All a person can do is kind of digest a song at a time, I think.
Well, we can't wait. We'll gladly share and promote on our end, and the songs as they come out. And Luke, that's our show, man. We can't thank you enough. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, and thanks for having me. It was really nice to talk to you guys.
And we love what you're doing. And yeah, man, we'll let you know when this bad boy comes out. Abby, anything else?
Good on my end. Thank you for doing our silly show.
Yeah, man, this has been fun. You gave some good answers to some really stupid questions.
Yeah, went to some fun spots. All right, gang. Well, thanks a lot.
Cool.
And we posted, and let's stay in touch. It was really
Indeed.
good time with you.
All right, have a good evening.
Peace out.
Thanks.
These days, I keep getting in my own way. Yeah, I've been tripping on my own shoelace, obsessing over memories. I'm never present lately. I'm always in my head, I'm overthinking everything. They probably hate the way I look and everything I say. We've never met, but in my head, already reading lips, and everybody here thinks I'm a piece of shit. Welcome to